What's up, guys? It's the Essential John L. Crossfire.
And I am Nova Lee.
And you guys are tuned into Caught
In Conversation.
Shaka Laka Laka. Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 136 of Caught in Conversation. As always, I am the Essential John L. Crossfire.
And I am Nova Lee.
And the irony of this one, Nova, is this episode is titled Don't Let My Voice Crack, as a little reference to one of the throwaway lines that Freya throws out here today, our guest, while talking about her time on The Voice. And much like last week in the intro and outro, I had a sinus infection and my throat was killing me. By process of elimination, Nova Lee now has said sinus infection / throat infection, so it's ironic. I don't know how Nova's...
This is pretty ironic too, it's a little spoiler alert. But also, the song of the week's name is Cottonmouth.
Well, with that being said, Nova, do you want to just jump into the song and match of the week and we can try and salvage this? Because once again, I copy and pasted the transition sound. I forgot to copy and paste the sound, even though we actually did it very early in this conversation. I just completely forgot to do it, so that's my bad. I'm a professional. Sorry, Freya. Her first ever podcast, and she jumps on the CIC pod in all of this. It's organised chaos, but it's fucking chaos. If you'd like to give the song a match of the week, Nova, I'll explain why, and then we can quickly skim through this and time travel to the outro because we're both feeling like absolute dog turd right now.
So the song of the week for episode 136 was Cottonmouth, the rock mix by Rashad and Ice Nine Kills. And the match of the week for episode 136 was Chris Jericho versus Eddie Guerrero, WCW Full Brawl 1997.
And the reason we picked this song was because it actually comes up in conversation, spoiler alert, when, I almost said Nova, when Freya was talking about how she's polyamorous, I was thinking Nova because it's a phrase, Nova, that you and I use frequently, and it's so awesome that we come up to be a thing on the podcast. But Freya was talking about, the different types of music and stuff that she listens to, and this was my first introduction to Ice Nine Kills. I knew of the band, and I have many, many friends that are fans of the band, but this was the first ever song where I was like, oh, that's that band, like all my friends listen to, and I checked it out, and it was a remix of a country song, or of all things. But and then the match was picked because obviously one of the opening lines to this discussion, Freya says, "What's the lead singer of Fozzy doing in a wrestling match?" in the 2017 Royal Rumble, which was almost going to be the match of the week, but then I skimmed through, and that exact Rumble match has actually been a match of the week previously. Funnily enough, though, Nova, given that I'm such a mark for Chris Jericho, if you take out that Rumble, and I believe there may have been another Rumble, if not two more Rumbles, that Jericho's been a part of, but this is only the second proper Chris Jericho match that I've ever had as the match of the week, which when I went through that list, because I was like...
Actually, pretty
honestly, shocked the hell out of me, because I'm one of the biggest Jericho marks you'll ever meet, and once again this week, as I alluded to before, we are using the portable mics just because it's a lot easier. We're cleaning for a house inspection. Unfortunately, the compound is a rental, so it's a lot easier to just plug the USB mics in and go. So I'm just ADHD ranting because as I'm doing this, I'm seeing my levels go up and down and up and down. And oh god, I did a sound check and it sounded right, but I think because I'm moving around as opposed to my usual microphone that's on a stand, this one's in my hand. That rhymed. Do you like green eggs again? But Nova, as we record this, we have now dropped 3 new vlogs.
Yes.
I forgot to plug it in last week's episode that there was 2 new vlogs, and as of this week, there is now 3 new vlogs because we obviously, a couple of weeks ago, for a belated 30th for myself, we went to Sydney for the eye hospital, did the eye opening for the Gadigal Centre. I made ABC News, which was kind of cool, both online and on television, and I can't say who, but I've just... was it yesterday or the day before? I think 2 days ago as I record this. 2 days ago as I record this, so it'll be well after that by the time this goes out. But 2 days ago as we record this, I actually did a magazine, did an interview over the phone for a magazine. It's done, it's dusted, it's going to be published. I've signed the contract. I can't say who with yet, but it is a very well-known Australian magazine, and it's just my story. Everyone knows my story. It's not overly exciting, but I've done this in the hope that people like me, or like us, who are in rural areas, no longer have to struggle as much.
And they know there's help out there.
Yeah.
So.
Just stuff like that. I just thought worth plugging since that's the most current episode to date. But yeah, we did that, and then obviously Emma Butler Memorial Show on October 26th, a couple of weeks ago now, and this past weekend, it'll be last week by the time this episode drops, we went to Slam, Rage in a Cage 2, which did not help the voice in the slightest. Absolutely fried our voices there, and you'll see that in the vlog. But yes, awesome conversation here with Freya. I think I feel terrible because the notes that Nova has for doing Freya's introduction here is one of like the most, well, not most detailed, but it's a longish one.
It sucks.
It's detailed.
It's one of the ones I was most looking forward to doing, and I'm like, oh, my voice is going to be terrible. I apologize now.
But yeah, we'll and just remind me of old Stone Cold.
What? Drink for this. I'm about to
what?
I can feel it.
But yeah, I'm gonna try and throw it to Nova. We're gonna throw it to the interview, my lord, with Freya Fury, and then we'll time travel to the outro, where we're gonna be dying and failing to speak. Good news is this conversation was about 3 weeks ago now. So our voices were good in this conversation.
The man was too stunned to speak.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you not speak? What? Anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together.
Ladies and gentlemen, rolling her way from the stage to the ring from Sydney, Australia, the Wrestle Strong Women's Champion, Freya Fury!
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with the one, the only, as we record this, the brand new Wrestle Strong Dojo Women's Champion, by the way. So, Freya Fury, how are you actually doing this evening, Freya?
Hello, I am doing great, actually. I hope you guys are doing well yourself.
Yeah, plugging along. As we record this, I turn 30 tomorrow, so I'm feeling really old right now.
Happy birthday!
What better way to spend it than by doing work stuff?
But they say that, are you really working if you're having fun at the end of the day and doing what you love?
I'm having a lot of fun actually on the podcast as of late, and that's why I was glad that we were able to get you, because as I said to you, in the kind of when I sent out the first message a few weeks ago, I've been following you for Wrestle Strong for a little bit, and then seeing you on The Voice, which we will get into, was just like, okay, we need to do this now.
We need to lock this
while the
in.
momentum's hot for everyone.
Well, I'm here now.
But we always ask the same question for first-time guests, and I say first-time in the hope that I say this for all our guests, so hopefully there'll be many more to come. But it's a very generic question, but I feel it's a very important question to break the ice for listeners of this show, and that is quite simply, Freya, what was your earliest wrestling memory?
Earliest wrestling what, sorry?
Earliest wrestling memory.
Oh, in the ring or when watching it?
When was the first time you saw professional wrestling, in whatever
capacity
that was?
Now, this is a story. So I actually was a very sheltered child, and I was really more pushed towards, being a little girly girl, being a dancer, getting pushed into the finer things and the arts kind of thing. So my dad did not want me to do sports at all. So I did not know what professional wrestling was until about 2017 actually. And my ex-partner at the time wanted to watch the Royal Rumble, and I was like, okay, whatever, I don't really know what wrestling is, it's fine. And I'm sitting down, and he started watching the Men's Royal Rumble, and I look up, and then I freak out because I saw the lead singer of Fozzy coming down the ramp.
Yes!
And I'm like, what's the lead singer of Fozzy doing there? And then apparently he's been a wrestler his whole life. And then I watched it, loved it, and then I kind of caught the bug since then. There was a period in my time where I watched nothing but wrestling. I went all the way back to like the 90s and just watched from there on. And then that's when I fell in love with Japanese wrestlers. That's when I fell in love with so many other pro wrestlers other than Chris Jericho. But, and then, yeah, that's probably the best story that I like to tell on how I got into wrestling was that I had no clue what it was until I realized that a singer for my favorite band was a wrestler.
See, that pops me so hard because Jericho in general is one of my idols, but Fozzy, unironically, people think it's ironically because I'm a wrestling fan. Unironically, Fozzy are my favorite band of all time. I love the stuff they do. So that really pops me that it wasn't even just a wrestler. It was genuinely, why is the lead singer of this band here? That's tickled me a little bit. But from what point then, Freya, did you actually discover Australian professional wrestling?
So I didn't really realize that there was like Australians that did wrestling until I found like, you know, the earliest wrestler that I saw that was Australian was Emma. And I was like, okay, cool. Like she managed to get it, good on her, but I didn't realize that there was actually Australian training schools around. And then when I watched the Mae Young Classic and of course I saw Rhea Ripley, I was like, okay, there's another Australian here. Can I actually do this? Because at the time I was actually playing roller derby, but I had this sort of something in me that I was like, I need to give this a try. I'm never going to know how I'm going to go unless I actually give it a try. And so I looked it up and I initially saw Wrestle Strong Dojo post-COVID in like 2019. And I honestly didn't have the money for it and was way too scared to actually try it. And then roughly at the end of 2020 after COVID, that's when I did some more research about it. And then I had a friend that said, oh yeah, no, just go for it kind of thing. And she kind of gave me the courage to go for it. And then that's when I met Dean Draven, who is an amazing coach, by the way. And then I met Amy Action as well, who is the head trainer of Wrestle Strong. And then that's when they showed me more Australian wrestlers out there as well. And then I was like, wow, I can actually be one of those guys. So that's, yeah, I was like very sheltered, like I said, but that's mainly they were my entry into Australian wrestling.
That actually segues really well into your first part of the question, Nova. And I will say shout out, though, to the whole roller derby thing.
Yes,
Nova,
I popped so much.
Nova's always said, like, you know, health permitting, that like she's wanted to do it for so long, but health just keeps getting in the way.
Same with wrestling as well, so it's like double whammy.
Well, it's kind of cool that you
can even ref as well. You can ref in roller derby too.
Yes. I need to ask though, what was your derby name / is your derby name?
So my derby name was Abby Road Rage, and that was because one of my other many favorite bands is actually the Beatles, and my mum actually thought of that name because my favorite album is Abbey Road, and I'm her daughter, so we shared quite the same amount of road rage, if I sheepishly admit. And she came up with the name Abbey Road Rage.
Shout out to Mama Fury, which may be an ironic name to give her in its own right when you're talking about Abbey Road Rage.
I'm sure, you know what, she will love that.
So my first question for you is, what was the deciding factor that got you into the business, and when did you decide you wanted to do it?
Yeah, you kind of glossed over that a little bit, but yeah, it was a good little segue into the actual question.
That's okay. So like, it was basically really like, I was just there was a period in time where like wrestling was my saving grace, and getting a little bit deep here, I was in a bit of a slump, and I was like, I felt like nothing was really worth it, but the thing that was kind of like worth it for me was popping on wrestling every time I got home from work kind of thing. And it's probably going to sound quite silly to some, but as a woman in her 30s, like Rhea Ripley was the one that actually got me, was that deciding factor of that, you know what, she can do it. I reckon I can give this a crack. And I really wanted to give it a try. And then right at 2020, I remember my first session It was like just after lockdowns kind of like finished in 2020, and it was my first day. I was so nervous, and I was like, didn't know what to expect. But by the end of the 2-hour session, Amy Action was like, I take it you liked it because you could not wipe the smile off my face, basically. And I just started training every day, and that's a big thing, is that, you know, you got to always keep up, you know, your strength. You got to keep up your training. And the more I did it, and then I made my in-ring debut in 2021, May 2021. And it was against Eli Lockhart, and that was back when I was actually the Viking Freya Fury. And I had like these, I had these dreadlocks and everything. And then literally 2 weeks later, the next lockdown happened. So I'd made my in-ring debut, and then the lockdown happened, and not being away from wrestling really, really showed to me that, wow, this is actually something that I'm truly passionate about. I am physically not okay that I'm not wrestling, kind of thing. So, and, you know, it's always like when you find that one thing, you know, like wrestling is my thing. Like I have other things I do, but wrestling is now number one, I can safely say.
Hell yeah. And I can attest to that, because 2020 was actually the last year of my career, if you want to call it that. It always sounds weird saying that because I only wrestled for 3 years, but I think I did like 4, maybe 5 matches that whole year because of the constant on again, off again lockdown. So I feel that. I feel that so much. It was just the constant need to do something, but I have nothing else to do.
I get that.
So switching gears a little bit, this will go back and forward a bit because we're ADHD as fuck.
Me too, don't worry.
So we want to make sure we cram it all in. What is your earliest music memory?
Oh, now that's easy. So I would sing as a kid. My mum would actually, as a little baby, I would sing to songs, even though the words did not sound right at all. You know, that's actually, she can attest to this. I have been a Bon Jovi fan since I was like 4 years old, because she would pop on Bon Jovi in the radio and I would sing along to it, kind of thing. And then even when she bought like a little Bon Jovi video cassette tape, and I would play that more than Barney the Dinosaur, you know what I mean? And I had this, and I would like get on the table and I'd pretend to be singing with him and everything. And then I remember I was out camping at like a caravan park, and then I got up and did karaoke, and I kid you not, the song I did was My Heart Will Go On, because I was this little 7-year-old kid that knew all the words to My Heart Will Go On, and I got up and sung it, and I like won first prize.
Hell yes.
It was this bottle of like lollipops, but I still won, you know, and I barely win anything as it is. And then I just sung in choirs in school. I did theatre as a kid, and that's actually what The Voice unfortunately didn't really hash on, but obviously they have a lot they got to kind of cram in. Like I actually have been in the arts and in theatre, and well, like not in like fancy theatre, but like I was a theatre kid in school, and I did a lot of music then, and then kind of got more into the rock and roll side of things when I got into my teen years, I guess you could say. And then I did HSC music, and yeah, basically singing the Bon Jovi as a child, really. That's probably my earliest memory.
This next question may even kind of go into that theatre stuff, perhaps, but I say this as someone that runs a podcast and does play-by-play commentary for professional wrestling. I honestly hate the sound of my own voice. Like going back and editing these podcasts and watching footage from shows that I've commentated on, I always cringe. Like I genuinely just hate my voice. So for you going on stage and singing, when did you discover that you had a voice for singing?
I still don't know if I have a voice for singing, because I have the confidence of a teaspoon. But my partner tells me every day that I am an incredible singer, and I guess I have to start believing it now. And like, look, I do think like, you know what, I did get on The Voice, so I must be able to sing somewhat if I got on there, kind of thing. Even though I didn't get any chair turns, but my, I guess like. Yeah, at the child age again, where like not even actually at the child age, more like in the pre-teen, I call it the teeny boppers. You know, when you're 12 and 13, but you're not considered a teenager, you're still considered, you know, a child. So, yeah, that's probably about then when I was like, okay, some people say I can, but then I'm like, oh, can I?
That's a pretty decent age, though, to kind of explore those options, but that'll actually feed into this. Now, as I said, we were semi-familiar with your work with Wrestle Strong, because we try our best to keep our eye on everything in the country. There's that much wrestling now that it's starting to slip away here and there, but when you mentioned the Viking thing, it flicked a switch. I was like, oh my God, yes, no. I do remember seeing that on socials and everything else, but what can you tell us for your appearance on The Voice? I know with... you know, there's some stuff in reality TV that I don't like you talking about, but you being on The Voice really drove it home for us in becoming fans of Freya Fury, because you just had that whole, you know, punk rocker attitude that we both...
We're just like, you've got everything. You're just talented.
You're our type of person, basically. But what can you talk about throughout that experience on The Voice and kind of walk us through that audition experience on the day?
You know, it actually takes longer than you think. It the filming process actually takes quite a while. So like, I know it doesn't look it, but it is actually split up over 2 days.
Okay.
So, like, I did, like, maybe my interviews in the beginning first off, and then the next day was my audition. So I had to make sure I looked exactly the same. So I had to make sure that, like, you know, if I had tan on, I needed tan on. I needed to do the exact same makeup and stuff like that. So it does take quite a while. The audition process takes even longer. I actually, my partner convinced me to apply, which, by the way, my partner is the one and only D.B. Robertson, who's also a Wrestle Strong Dojo guy. He's the one that convinced me to send in the application, and I sent in my application, I think it was, September 2023, and then I found out I had a face-to-face audition with the producers in, like, December or something like that, or October, I think it was. Yeah. So like, I actually met with the producers in October 2023, and then the filming actually took place in February. So like a couple of days like after my birthday. So it takes a while. Then a lot of people don't realize that actually. That's probably the biggest thing I'd have to say, is that I was so shocked at how long the process actually is.
Damn, that's because like I know I've had a few people that have done like the online auditions where they've had to send in like a 30-second clip to like the email and all that, and I'm like, even that is like, dude, how many auditions, I say with a wink and a smile on an audio only podcast, do you have to do before you get to the actual audition on stage? That's crazy to me. But the fact that
so I went through, I think I did four or five things. So the application where I sent in like a minute-long video of me singing was the first step, and then the second step was meeting the producers face-to-face. And even then that took a while, kind of thing, and like they wanted to, like, they talked with me twice then, and then I got an email saying, hey, we went through your repertoire of the songs and this is what we want to hear from you as well. So that was like the third process. And then they wanted me to go and do a key check, which is basically like playing with the music they cut for me for my potential blind audition. So that was the fourth one. And then I got calls from producers and they were like, oh, if you were to get a blind audition, what's the chance we can film you wrestling? And then that was probably like the fifth thing, but that wasn't really a thing. And then I got the email saying, congratulations, you have a blind audition. And so it does, it's a long-ass process.
God damn. Like, it's kind of funny you say that, though, like with when you were talking, I was just thinking about how you talked about the taping thing. It's very similar to live wrestling, where it's just like, oh, we're doing a live show, but we're doing a pre-tape, so you got to make sure it's like everything's syncing up to make it look like it's happening.
Yeah, exactly. I tell you what though, like half the people on the show, I didn't even meet. I only met maybe like a couple of the people that had a blind audition along with me. So actually, the girl that did the metal version of Toxic, Mole,
dude, she was crazy.
Oh, she was cool.
She is so cool. We are like friends now. She is the best. And I met her. I met Nethra, who did a Louis Capaldi song. And I'm like, I met her, met Nethra, I met Steph. And then a couple of others, I'm like, who are you? I wish I just was able to meet all of those amazing singers.
But I think obviously you were very nervous. That's a pretty bold assumption to make, I'd feel. But what's going through your mind standing on the stage? Because obviously being a professional wrestler, you constantly in front of a pile of strangers and everything else. But what kind of goes through your mind? Because you hear it on TV with the producers are like, artist walking to like prep the band and the judges and everyone else. Like, was from you hearing that to walking on the stage and stuff, like what goes through your mind walking down that corridor?
Oh, honestly, I was like, time is different when you're up on that stage. It's not like in the ring at all. I'll tell you that. And like, I think the first thing that I thought of was, oh my God, please don't make my voice break. Please actually something come out that sounds good. I like before my audition, I think like I sculled like a bottle of water to try and make sure my voice was like molded up and everything like that. And I did my exercises beforehand, but I was just like, oh, why does my voice sound so dry? And then it was more of okay, now I really... seeing the coaches' chairs turn behind me, that's where I was like, okay, at this stage, I would love anybody to turn for me kind of thing. But it was also a huge moment as well because I actually hadn't sung in front of a crowd for about 5 years. And that was the first time I did. And I was just more, you know what, if I do this and I do it good, then you know what, then that's the main thing really. Cause I was just like, wow, look where I am.
What would you prefer, being on stage, whether it be on The Voice or otherwise, or being in the ring at this stage?
Poquito los dos.
Fair enough. Touche. But like, I don't.
Like if Chris Jericho can do both, I can too.
You know what? That's fair enough.
Queen.
Honestly, fair enough. You keep doing you. But I don't know like how much they do or don't edit out on TV. But what they did show, it did show the judges giving you a fair, decent like chunk of advice and encouragement. Have you been able to take that advice and encouragement on board as of yet, or?
Oh, 100%. I'm not afraid to like sing now in front of people. Like I was even shy to sing in front of my partner before, like he like forced me to, well, not forced me, before he more encouraged me to sing in front of him.
Strongly encouraged.
Yeah, exactly. So I am not scared to sing in front of anyone anymore. Like I would love to. I have done like an audition with a band before. The travel was just too much, so I pulled that up. But I'm in the process of like saving up to get a whole new like microphone kind of set up so that I can actually start like recording some covers and stuff like that as well. And so even if I can just do that again and just post myself singing, because I used to have like videos of myself singing online. And then when I did have that, guy tell me what he told me, I kind of actually took everything down and I didn't have anything to send to The Voice to show, hey, yeah, I've actually been singing my whole life. So I've taken that on board. I've been kind of like experimenting with other genres as well because I have done other genres before. And was researching, like, even just getting some music lessons as well. So, but obviously, you know, got to try and save the moolah for that one first. I think I want to get through Christmas first before I start investing any more money into it. But I have been, like, you know, keeping an eye out if there's anybody that's looking for a lead singer or anything like that. I am also just going to get that microphone and start posting myself singing again, sort of thing. So that's all I can really do at the moment as well. Like, I do obviously still am training in and wrestling as well. So
before Nova asks her next question, I will say that's a hell of an idea. You could even, like, with like Wrestle Strong or whoever you're wrestling for, you almost do like a little karaoke, like with Freya kind of thing. Like,
be like Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry vibes, girl.
Show honestly, like that's why not?
You know what? I did just, you know what? I am a bit of a bad guy now, so that could probably work in my favor.
You're like, you want to sing a song? You want to sing it? Too bad, this is my damn microphone. Sit down, shut up, and listen to me sing.
Or just try and challenge yourself to sing bad on purpose.
Not to kind of...
So then they hate on you even more.
Not to, like, take it too far away and rant, but, like, 2005, when Chris Jericho started intertwining Fozzy into the shows, he had, like, the Battle of the Bands with John Cena. Fozzy was there, they were ready to play. Obviously, John Cena performs, and everyone's like, ah! And Chris Jericho's like, we can't follow that. Because from a wrestling standpoint, Fozzy could have the greatest show in the world, but from a wrestling standpoint, he's a heel.
Yeah,
They're going to boo it. So they did the whole thing where he came out on stage and the band's there, the band's ready to play, and he's like, you don't deserve to hear us play. And the guitarist is like, oh, easiest payday I've ever got. Rich Ward got flown in and paid to stand there and hold the guitar.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. Oh, God, I can imagine that.
So now this is where we start to get into our more generic but still important questions. We usually do just wrestling ones, but we've squeezed in some music ones here too. But my first one for you is, what is your favourite match of all time, both that you've had personally and that you've seen? So either that be live or on television.
Oh, okay. So the easiest one, my favourite match ever would have to be British Bulldog versus Bret Hart, and I think it was WrestleMania 90. SummerSlam.
Yes.
Yes, that's it. Yes.
That is a good one.
That's a deep
cut. That is probably one of my favorite matches ever. Just Bret Hart, British Bulldog. It's you know what? It's the stuff that made me go like, "Oh, is he all right?" kind of thing. You know, it's just wrestling.
A match where Bulldog wrestled completely hungover, by the way. So makes it even more impressive.
I know, right?
Drank for like 12 hours because he'd seen family for the first time in like 10 years. Now that is some fucking punk rock type of shit right there, honestly.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's the matches that I've done. You know what? I cannot pick a favorite when it comes to matches I've done. I have done like a lot of awesome matches. My favorite wrestler, I would have to say that I love wrestling, is definitely Mystic Jessie. She is super, super fun to wrestle with, and she is super fun to just work in the ring with as well. Like, I still have not been misted yet by her. Hopefully I can avoid it. But, like, she is one hell of a wrestler as well, for sure. Definitely. Like, if Amy Action makes a return, I'd love to wrestle her as well.
Oh, yeah. Make it happen.
So
I want to make it happen.
Yes. So my next one for you goes more into like the music stuff again. So what has been the best concert that you've ever been to?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Asking you the hard questions.
This is a hard question. Damn. Okay. Oh, no. Okay. I got to really think about this. Because, you know, I've seen, like, because here's a tough one. I've seen, like, Steel Panther, like, 5 times. So, what one, you know?
Hell yes.
You know what, though? I'd have to say say it was actually a recent one. It was last year, and it was Papa Roach and the U's, because it was the first concert that my partner and I actually went to, and we both shared the band Papa Roach together. I'm pretty sure all wrestling fans share the band Papa Roach. Yes. I managed to get us right to the front row, and we're there jumping and having a good time. And he wasn't sure what songs we were going to play, but then the moment that To Be Loved started, the look on my partner's face of pure excitement was just like, it made it for me, where we were just there like jumping up and down, singing to the freaking, was it a SmackDown theme? It was a SmackDown.
It was a Raw theme, and I will say, as much as people
singing
like...
up and down to Be Loved, a Raw theme. He was so happy. And then at the end, when Born for Greatness was playing as well, which was yet another Raw theme, he was just like, the look on his face.
Wrestlers have used that now as well, the Born for Greatness and the promo packages and stuff.
I know.
I will say though, as much as people fondly remember like the Union Underground one, I get the guns, that's a great track, but the To Be Loved, like the video that went with it and just the track, like that's my all-time favorite Raw.
You know what? I reckon that's the millennial one. Like, To Be Loved by Papa Roach. That's the one where everyone's like, yeah. But in saying that though, like I also got to have my first meet and greet concert this year with Amaret, who is a very... it was their first time in Australia, and the fact that I got to meet them in their first time in Australia as well was even better. And I got to tell them that, one of their songs is like my dream theme. So that's even another one. There are so many good ones, but I have to say those are my top two for sure.
Awesome. And my next one for you is, what is your go-to band or artist if you just need some background music?
Oh, Ice Nine Kills. Like a little bit of a...
Yep.
Yeah, a little bit of a fun fact about old Freya is that she is a huge horror movie fan. She loves her horror movies. And Ice Nine Kills... that's another band I would love to see. I unfortunately missed out on seeing them with Amity Affliction this year. Sad face, but hopefully they'll come out to Australia again. But yeah, Ice Nine Kills for sure. They've been like my number one band on Spotify wrap up like 2 years in a row. So and even last year they were like the second place. So they're always on my rotation no matter what.
See, the funny thing is, I actually discovered Ice Nine Kills in a remix of a country song that they did, and then and I was like, man, these guys are cool, and then just deep dove into their actual music, and I was just like, it's so weird now to think that they were in a country song, but that was the first time I ever heard them.
What country song did they do?
I can't think of the name of the song, but there's a fella by the name of Rashad, and he does kind of like, he does what they call hip-hop. It's country hip-hop. But it was like, it's one of his more country songs, but he's like, oh, fuck it, I'm going to turn this into a rock mix. And then he just, Ice Nine Kills just jumped onto a verse, so...
You know what? I'm going to have to look this up because...
I'll find the song after we stop recording and I'll send it to you on Spotify.
Thank you. Like, I'm a woman of many things I love. I also like country music.
Yeah, I saw you teased Ain't No Love in Oklahoma as one of your covers. And I was just like, I voted for that on all three profiles. And I was like, it still didn't win.
I was like, darn
it! Yes, no, for sure. Like, unfortunately, that poll, Blaze of Glory by Bon Jovi won that one. So
thank you, Nova. It's Cottonmouth by Rashad. Yes. Cottonmouth. Nova's like, this is why she's the co-host. She's straight on it. Cottonmouth by Rashad featuring Ice Nine Kills. It's the rock mix, but the normal one is like, it's an awesome country track, but the rock version literally just takes it over the edge, and it's just so random now to think that they were just in this random fucking country song. It was like a year or 2 years ago that it came out now, but yeah.
I'm gonna have to for sure look that up. That sounds so cool. But yeah.
But for the next question, this is technically the official fourth question, but we've managed to squeeze a couple of bonus ones in there, which is awesome. But another generic one. But again, I feel like it's important. It's just, who is your ultimate dream opponent, and what is your dream match stipulation?
Can I do a pipe dream or something like that? Like
we always kind of say, like, past or present, whatever, and then maybe do like a realistic one as well. Like you can interpret it as
Oh.
however you like.
Okay. Okay. Kyla Knight from Queensland and I have been following each other for a
phenomenal
while. She is someone that I would love to wrestle without a doubt. I don't care what match. I would just love to wrestle her. The pipe dream, obviously, like I want to face Freya at some point. I don't know what match. She's probably going to tower over me, but like I reckon just her, she would be an awesome opponent as well. Hell, you know what? Even Delta. I reckon she's like probably just a little bit more taller than me, so like a little bit of a height match is good. But her I would love to face. And you know what I haven't seen in a while is like maybe like a good. Oh, you know, I can't say a TLC match because I haven't done a TLC match myself, but I would have to say, yeah. You know what though? I love watching Falls Count Anywhere matches just to see what kind of creative things they can come up with.
That is so cool. Yes.
You know, either a Falls Count Anywhere match or hell, even a Last Man Standing match would be awesome as well, or Last Woman Standing match. Any of those three ladies hit me up. Even though two are probably impossible at the moment, but you know what? Never say never. Like I have dreams that go up the
Grayson Waller
wazoo.
just came back to Australia,
Yeah,
so
that's true.
never say never.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
For sure.
I will say before asking the next part of the question, Extreme Capital Wrestling or Slam Pro League
Yes.
or ICW, anyone Canberra-based, I don't care. Bring Kyla Knight down to this neck of the country because she has a lot of fans on this part of the country.
And bring Freya too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, bring Freya Fury. Maybe that's where we can book it. Extreme Capital Wrestling, Kyla Knight versus Freya Fury for your next show. Let's go. Well, not next show, but
Hell
first,
yeah.
2025. Let's go. But this one I feel like is either going to be really easy or it's going to be really hard. No in between. But who, past or present, would be your dream artist to do a duet with and why?
Oh, okay. Can I give you one alive and one dead? That sounds so bad. Oh my god.
Again, open for interpretation.
Yes.
We're not going to put a gun to your head here and just be like, just give us one. No, you can give us a list of names. It's fine.
Yes.
Okay, so look, obviously, like I have my favorite artists. Like I got Ice Nine Kills up there. I have, you know, Luke Bryan is actually my favorite country singer.
Yes.
Yeah, something with him. Hell, even Luke Combs, I'd love to do something with him too. But to be able to, I think I've always had that little girl dream of just singing with John Bon Jovi. That's probably someone that I would love to sing with. Someone who's no longer with us though, not so much really like a duet partner, but more like I just want to get songwriting advice would be like either John Lennon or Freddie Mercury, because those two songwriters in particular they created some of the most heartwarming and just songs that kind of stick with you, you know, like just like if I could have like a crash course of songwriting with one of those two, it would be amazing.
I will just say this, since we brought him up a couple of times now, Freya, you mentioned Luke Combs, right? I know obviously this is Australia, but you mentioned all of the different hoops and everything you had to jump through to even get onto the voice stage. Luke Combs was rejected by the producers of The Voice before he even made it to the stage. So the fact that you managed to make it to be in front of those chairs, kudos to you, and take that as some sort of, again, I know it's a different country, but the process is still the exact same. The producers basically saw this man, thought he wasn't good enough, and Blake Shelton has been very fucking public about his opinion on that and how bullshit he finds it that, well, what am I even here for if these guys can turn him away before he's on the stage sort of thing. But yeah, that's something to put in your cap that, yeah, you may have been disheartened. Like, look, I'm no wise, man or whatever, but if you ever get disheartened that you didn't get any chair turns, just think you made it onto a stage that, by proxy, within the same realm and universe, Luke Combs was rejected from by the producers. So, again.
Wow. That's, look, like, I'm a little bit proud of that, but you know what? Like, I'm also quite impressed with, like, you know what? That just goes to show that, like, that's the reason why Blake Shelton has won that damn show. God only knows how many times, because he knows how to pick them, you know?
But yeah, I'll let Nova ask her next question before I just completely take this on a rant.
So my next one's last official question. It's a non-wrestling related one, so bringing it back to music again. Who is your guilty pleasure artist and or song?
Or perhaps even a guilty pleasure genre if you have one.
Yeah,
My partner is looking at me and he's just pointing and laughing because he knows exactly what I'm going to say.
Oh God.
Your girl is a boy band lover.
Whoa, okay.
Your girl loves her boy bands like she loves her boyfriends. Backstreet Boys is, they're my jam. They're my jam for sure. So, I go from, metal to country to boy bands. I'm polyamorous.
Oh, yes,
I love that expression. I shit you not, Freya. I've got a couple of different playlists. I've got one that's actually John's karaoke mix, which, despite the fact that I hate the sound of my own voice, if I get a couple of beers in me, I will sing my ass off, even though I can't sing worth a damn. But, my main playlist is literally just called My Jams, and there's, 3,000 and something songs. And if I put that on shuffle, it will literally go from Susie Quattro to the Backstreet Boys to Slipknot to Luke Bryan back to Shania Twain, and I'm just like, if I'm in the shower, I can't change it. I'm just, all right, this is what we're going with now.
You know what? That is awesome. That is awesome. I hear that. I'm the same. The first time my partner has listed my music choices, he's just like, Jesus, I feel like I'm on a roller coaster listening to your music.
Even the algorithm on Spotify, and Nova's the same, even the algorithm is kind of screwed with us now, because you'll put a song on and it'll give you a recommended or related song or artist, but even now, if I'm listening to country, somehow some sort of Guns N' Roses song or something will slip in there and then go back to country, and I'm like, what are you doing, Spotify? It's just learning my personality.
We know what you like.
It's just learning.
We know what you like.
It's just learning my traits, and I'm just like, good Lord.
Oh my God.
I think that's my next challenge for Freya's next cover, is to find a good boy band song, and either A, just roll with it, or B, try and rockify it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
A no resolve or state of mind kind of thing. They've done a couple of Backstreet Boys and NSYNC songs that are just there's an I Want It That Way rock cover, and it's fucking amazing.
You know what? I would love to do a cover of a boy band song for sure. I just not even just Backstreet Boys, but can you imagine a rock cover of Bye 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 or something like that, or
actually, I think No Resolve actually just dropped that one of those. They did it because of
Did they really? Oh my God, that's another one I gotta listen to.
The Deadpool movie, it was trending. I think, was it No Resolve?
Oh
I think
my
it was
God,
No Resolve.
yeah.
Someone did it anyway because it was trending for the Deadpool movie, so they just jumped on it, and it was just it's so good.
Oh, of course they did.
Actually, this is a deep cut, but it's one of my go-to karaoke songs, is Total Eclipse of the Heart. Obviously, Westlife have a version of that. I would love to hear Freya Fury rockify the Westlife version specifically of that song. That'd be kind of dope.
Oh, you're giving me ideas. That's an idea.
The terrible thing about having ADHD and running a podcast is I'll have this structure of these questions, and then something will tickle my fancy, and then we just go off on a tangent. My apologies. But as we...
No, don't be silly. I do that too, and I apologize.
Oh, they did? Oh, my God. Okay, they've done both of them. They did I Want It That Way and Bye Bye.
Yeah.
And now it's they're doing they've basically done a Backstreet Boys versus NSYNC kind of thing with their own music with No Resolve. That's freaking awesome.
Look, don't get me wrong. I love both NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, but I think I am team Backstreet Boys. It's just because I grew up with Backstreet Boys and I grew up listening to them.
I'm the same. Nova, who are you? NSYNC or Backstreet Boys?
I'm more Backstreet Boys as well. So
3-0. Okay, that's not as divisive as I thought it was going to be. Sorry, listeners.
It was always that classic thing of you team Backstreet or you team NSYNC.
So by that logic, I'm going to say 1 in every 4 Australians is more of an NSYNC fan because there's 3 of us here. Who does DB Robinson prefer, Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
I don't know. I'll ask him. Hold on. Davey Robertson. Oh, he says Backstreet Boys.
Yes,
It's
okay.
a clean sweep here on this podcast. But as we start to unwind on this interview, Freya, this is going to be dropping early to mid-November. I'm still sorting out our calendar currently because we've actually had a very busy month, which is not a bad problem to have, honestly. But where can we find you on social media? Do you have any merch, any upcoming events, etc., etc.? Obviously, if you've got events that are happening before this airs, I apologise, but I will put the links out there if they do come out afterwards.
No, that's totally fine. So obviously you can find Freya Fury Pro Wrestler on Facebook. My Instagram handle is Freya_Fury PW_Sing7. I honestly just look up Freya Fury. I'm pretty sure you can find her. My next show is actually this weekend. I will be defending my title against Sahara at Oberon. It's another Wrestle Strong Dojo show. So if you guys want to come, go right ahead. Last Oberon show, actually, I'm pretty sure was a full house. So get in there quick if you do want to go see it. That's the 26th of October. But I think after that, I will also be doing a show in November as well. But I always post when my next shows are. That's the big one. Other than that, if you see me on the street, say hi.
Hell yeah. And you were just saying, as a bonus question, you were saying that you were actually recognised at a Roosters game. You were talking about that before we went on air. So as a bonus question before we wrap this up, I would say, since being on The Voice, how many times have you been recognised and what's been the weirdest one so far?
Oh, it's mainly at work. I'll be quite honest with you, because I work in retail,
Okay,
and
yeah.
I actually was just gift wrapping something for a customer, and she goes, "You look familiar. Were you on TV recently?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that was me." And she goes, "You're the girl that did this. Oh, you were so cool." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." But the Roosters game was the weirdest one because I left my partner to go and grab us food, and it was just as I think it was what game was it? It was the Roosters versus Rabbitohs game before the final started happening. It was the last, I think, it was the last Rabbitohs home game, and we got our seats, and then I went out to go grab food for us, kind of thing, and I accidentally bumped into a guy. I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, sir." And he goes, "Oh, you're right, love." And then I went to go pick up more chips, and he goes, "Hang on, you were on The Voice." And I was like, "Yeah, that was me." And he goes, "Oh, you were awesome, love. Oh, good on you. Go the Chookies." And I was like, "Yeah, go Chookies," because I'm also a Panthers fan. So I'm there like, "Yeah, go
There had to be
Chookies."
something wrong with that. The funny thing is, I'm a Parramatta fan and Nova's a Broncos fan, so Freya can hold that over both of us.
I'm sorry. No, don't count the Roosters out, because you know what?
They
The
are my
women won
second
it for
team.
them this year.
The Roosters
The
are my
women won
second
it this
team, so
year.
I'll take it.
For sure.
But with that being said, we do appreciate your time, and as I said, we'll link all of the Freya Fury stuff, and we'll link all of Wrestle Strong's pages as well. So if anything does come out before this episode, we'll link it below. But yeah, just follow Freya, follow Wrestle Strong.
Yes, 100%. And you know what? Wrestle Strong do still do beginners classes. So if there's a message to anyone out there that are scared to give wrestling a try, you never know unless you do. Wrestle Strong are an amazing school to go to learn the fundamentals. Like Amy and Dean are hell of trainers, and and Dean is one hell of a wrestler. So for sure, if you guys give him a follow, and even if you want to give wrestling a try, just contact Amy Action on Facebook. You should be able to contact Wrestle Strong anywhere, and then they'll give you the details. Yeah, it took me a while, but I did it, and I don't regret it at all.
Well, I think with this conversation, Freya makes either 4 or 5 people that have trained at the Wrestle Song Dojo that we've had on this show. So definitely a great crop of talent to be involved in. But no, definitely check that out. But we thank you for your time here, Freya. I'm glad we could squeeze this in, and I appreciate you giving us your time. And the fact that you said this is your first ever interview ever is very humbling.
Cool
I was not aware of that. I knew it was one of your first. I didn't realise it was the actual first, as I said to you earlier on before we actually started recording. But yeah, I'm just very humbled for your time and appreciate your time, and I've really enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Thank you guys so much.
Anything you want to add, Nova?
No.
You're just smiling and vibing over in the corner?
It's just fun. It's good. It's good fun.
It's the caffeine kicking in. She's just tweaking.
Yeah. It's ADHD.
Thank you very much, Freya. You enjoy the rest of your evening. And yeah, just everyone go follow Freya and Wrestle Strong and cheer her on because she's going to be defending that Wrestle Strong championship for a while, I feel.
Hell yeah.
Thank you very much, Freya.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Freya Fury. And I must say, considering how shot both of our voices are, Nova, you did much better job of that introduction than I ever would. My voice is cracking now just thinking about it. I literally took a swig of water right before we hit record, and now that I've hit record, all this lovely stuff is trying to come up off my bloody throat. My lord, of all the conversations for it to happen, though, I still think it's ironic that it's the episode that we called Don't Let My Voice Crack, and we named the episode 3 weeks ago after doing the conversation. But hey, when life gives you a lemon, I suppose. I mean, if I had some lemons, that'd be beautiful. It'd sting like a sumbitch, but that'd be absolutely lovely. But the annoying thing is, of all of the episodes, to have a buttload of stuff for me to plug, it's this episode.
Oh my gosh.
So, of course, as always, the link tree's there for both myself and Nova that contains all of the podcast socials and the Patreon where you get early access, Nova, for as little as
$5 dues.
2-day early access wherever possible, most of the time, for as low as $5. Of course, we have our $5 tier, which is Rogue, the Essential tier, which is $10, the Real Main Event tier, which is $15, and then our top tier, the $20 tier, Nova, is
the Supernova tier.
The Supernova, baby. Supernova tier. Of course, named after my lovely wife, my lovely co-host here. I'm not going to do the whole spiel here because my throat is killing me, but go have a look at the Patreon and suss it out. But come on, it's $5. I'm sure you got $5 more than I do right now. My Linktree also does contain my Amazon wish list, my Pro Wrestling Tees store. We do still have Radiation Kick shirts on hand here at the compound if you'd like one delivered cheaper. And of course, they were $30 each with $10 going to Emma's charity. That does still stand if we organise pickup. However, it'd be $40 if you factor in the $10 for delivery. So extra $10 for delivery for one shirt, $15 for two. And obviously if you do a bulk order, we'll have to sort it out. But yeah, $10 from every one of those shirts. Still going to Emma's charity. We've just got the final numbers. It was 1,470 something. So not as much money raised as the previous Emma Butler Memorial Show, but considering we're in a venue that was much smaller with about half of the people,
that's pretty awesome.
Still a pretty very good effort. We amongst ourselves with the handful of shirts that we did sell. Excuse me. This is all one take. I'm gonna leave that choking in. With the t-shirts that we did sell, plus the hats and the stickers and stuff that we sold over, we did raise a little bit over $90. I think it was $95 all up that we raised. I think I donated either $90 or I think it was $90 we raised, but I think I put $100 in there just to round it up. Just try and help as little as we can. But yeah, we raised some decent money for Emma's charity to get some scopes and stuff for doctors and dentists to use. And we did find out at that show, even though it was a couple of weeks ago now, but I'm just remembering, someone actually in the Central West area effectively have their lives saved because of this equipment that we've managed to get with the money we raised from the last event. So yeah, that's the thing. But all our stuff's there. The GoFundMe, I'm not going to beg, but it's there. Alternatively, you can hit me up for graphic work. I'm a one-eyed designer. But the most important thing for this show is go and follow Freya Fury on Instagram, on Facebook. It's linked below. She mentioned it in the conversation. And then go follow Wrestle Strong Dojo Nova on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and X. And then Wrestle Strong Dojo have their junior heavyweight gauntlet on Sunday, November 24th at the Penrith Gales. They're going to be having two junior heavyweight gauntlet matches, and the winner of those two matches will face each other at a show in the new year to then determine the number one contender for the junior championship at an even later date in the new year. There's a couple of singles matches and tag matches. So far, no one's actually been announced which match is which. Freya's not actually listed on this card because she has suffered some sort of a sprain, but I'm sure, being the current women's champion, she's probably still going to poke her head out, especially now that she's a bad guy. I feel like she's probably going to terrorize some of the youngins in the crowd. But yeah, buy the tickets to that. Go follow Freya, go follow Wrestle Strong. And then moving all the way from Penrith all the way down to Victoria, Adrenaline Pro Wrestling, Friday, November 29th, Legacy, Jason Crash versus Adam Brooks. Sweet mother of God. And speaking of Jason Crash, his older brother, Zane Zodiac, will be facing Bobby Fish. Just announced, I believe, this morning or I think it was last night as we record this. My brain is all kinds of messed up, but as we record this episode, Bobby Fish versus Zane Zodiac has just been announced. And then the following night in Geelong, Saturday, November 30th, speaking of Bobby Fish, he main events MXW All for 1-2 in a match against Richie fucking Taylor in a match that's sure to be a certified banger, certified mwah, chef's kiss. And of course the All for 1 Rumble, where the winner will get a shot at the MXW Heavyweight Championship the next time they are back in Geelong, which will be February 28th, March 1st. And then moving back to the ACT, tickets for ICW Clash in the Capital are now on sale December 7th. Get your tickets now. It's going to be our biggest show of the year. It's going to be ending the year with an absolute bang. And then we go back down to Victoria, all the way to Horsham on Saturday, December 28th for MXW No Regrets, and this will be in Horsham, which of course is where MXW originally originated back when they were a quote-unquote backyard company. Oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry, but now that they are official, I believe this is going to be their third. I think it's their third. I don't know if it's their second or third, because they did one show in Horsham, but they've done a couple of festivals and stuff in Horsham a handful of times now. But yeah, I think it's their third show officially in Horsham. I could be wrong. Someone will correct me on that. It's the internet. I'll get yelled at if it's wrong. It's fine. But yeah, all of the links are there. Everything's there, Nova. You're being rather quiet, even more quiet than usual because of your voice.
Yeah, that's my voice.
If you'd like to just quickly recap the song and match of the week, and we're going to bounce because you don't want to bore you, because this conversation with Freya was absolutely awesome.
And I don't want to keep coughing.
And I feel like we've tainted it with our terrible... like my voice... I sound like I'm going through puberty all over again. Like the amount of times my voice...
I just sound like I smoke a few...
Like the squeaky voice teen from The Simpsons. Like I'll be like, hey, I'm down here. And all of a sudden I'm up here and I'm, yes, sir. I'm going from macho man to a prepubescent teen at the drop of a hat. But Nova, if you'd like to recap the song and match of the week, and we're going to get the fuck out of here.
Alrighty, so your song of the week was Cottonmouth, the rock mix by Rashad and Ice 9 Kills. And your match of the week was Chris Jericho versus Eddie Guerrero, WCW, Fall Brawl 1997.
And what I did forget to mention in the intro, because I was dying from my voice, was... this was actually Eddie Guerrero winning the WCW Cruiserweight Championship just 1 month before that absolute classic match with Rey Mysterio. They made a big deal about, oh, Jericho only had a 1 month reign, and props off to Guerrero for ending his reign after only 1 month. And then Guerrero just had a 1 month reign anyway. So go figure. But yeah, that was my little ADHD moment for today. I don't think Nova's actually seen this match. But this is like both guys, like considering what they'd go to be, are noticeably a lot more greener than they'd be, like, you know, in their prime years. Obviously, it's the whole point of being green, being prime, etc. But like the fact that like you can tell that there's obviously so much room for growth left for both men, And then they still put on this absolute classic cruiserweight matchup. It was actually the opening match of that pay-per-view for WCW, and it was just absolutely awesome. But I think we've pretty well covered it, Nova. We're both dying here.
Yeah.
We managed to keep it
quiet, guys.
just a little bit over an hour. So majority of it was like, there was, I think, just on 50 minutes of conversation with Freya, and hear our voices for like 10-ish minutes maybe for the intro and outro, give or take. But if there's nothing else you need to plug, Nova.
No, I don't think there's anything
Nope.
else. No. Sorry.
Oh, my lord. But thank you very much, as always, to Freya for coming on. I'm not going to do the thank you. Even though I kind of just did. But no, we are very grateful. And the fact that it was her first ever podcast still boggles my mind. But, oh my God, I am so sorry. But thank you, Freya, for coming on. I am the Essential John L. Crossfire.
And I am Nova Lee.
And you guys were just caught
In conversation. Shakalaka.
Don't let my voice crack.
Ow.